East Durham Veterans Trust, welcome to this video. This video we're going to talk about this news report that I've got on here. It's on YouTube at the moment, but it's off Channel 4 News. So it's on the Channel 4 News YouTube website, site if you like. We shared the link all over our Facebook and other social media platforms. When this first came out, it was a few weeks ago on a Saturday. They came out just before Christmas and covering the stuff we were doing with mates and mates and the social groups and all that sort of good stuff. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to play the video. If you want to watch it, then by all means, I'll put the link in the description for this video here. But actually, you know, we're just going to go through and see some of the comments on there. Scrolling down through at the moment, you see it's had over 114,000 views on it, which has been absolutely incredible, you know, to get the word out about what we're doing with East Durham veterans and the cost of living crisis and some of the work we're doing when they came in to film us as well. 595 comments. That's crazy. Didn't realize there was that many comments on it, to be fair. We have commented a couple of times ourselves going through from a few weeks ago, but we've checked nothing recently. So we'll see what comments are on and we'll just go through it from there. Start off as our comment at the top there, basically just saying, you know, thanks for the people who have left kind comments, and we'll continue to do what we do in supporting our community, you know, within the armed forces community, the veteran community, and the community here in East Durham. We'll continue to do that, because that's something, you know, we really get a lot of satisfaction out of helping people. So we'll continue to do that. Next comment: to all individuals who are vulnerable and brave enough to share their stories, and to those who run this non-profit, thank you. You're very, very welcome. It was very brave for some of the guys that were in that day to actually, you know, go on camera and talk about the struggles they were having at that time. Next one brought me to tears. When governments fail to help people, they should. Communities, volunteers and charities like these are the answer. Respect to all involved. Yeah, we love what we do at East Durham Veterans Trust. We love helping people. So yeah, thank you very much for that nice kind comment there. That got 104 likes. There's nothing wrong with these people. It's all psychopaths who put them in this position who need treatment. Well, I think we'll scroll past that one, and I'm sure that's a matter of opinion there. Next one is from Beginnings Now, put on 2 weeks ago. What a fantastic initiative, amazing. Before I got run over last year, I used to think when I saw homeless people with disabilities, I thought injuries might have happened in the street. Having experienced the after effects of the traumatic injury and the broken bones, I see that unless someone has access to proper rehabilitation and help from the environmental impact of the injury, an accident can easily lead to losing everything. Yeah, totally agree with that. You know, and I hope that you've got a speedy recovery after you've been knocked over. Thank you for the wonderful video. This next person says, I have incurred so much losses trading on my own. I trade well on demo, but I think the real market is manipulated. Can anyone help me out, or at least tell me where I'm going wrong? 65 replies on that one. I don't really think that's related to what we looking at the replies there. I don't really think that's related to the video that we were part of with Channel 4 News. I think people grasp how bad the northeast of England is at the moment. The suicide rate for young males in the north is scary. We're all lost, but a little of our industry jobs that kept entire councils employed gone, and with nothing to replace it. Crime in rural and urban areas at an all-time high. We are desperate for help 3 years ago. We were promised a new north, a levelled up north, hence the red northern bloc broken. The COVID hit, and what little bit of commerce we had died. The city's held, but what does that say? I've got my glasses on. The city's held on, but towns are like cemeteries with tombstones of once great stores now boarded up to the left. It's always been a hard life up here, but this feels very different now. From when before you'd see the people push through, no matter how bad it seemed. Click on read more. That's quite interesting. That fight just isn't there anymore, and it worries me when young men see more hope in death than living. that's when a serious conversation needs to be had. Listen, I totally get everything this person's saying here. I totally get it. Yeah, up north in the northeast, we are the forgetting. We were promised levelling up, and obviously we're hoping for the third round now that we actually get something. But yeah, you're talking about suicide rates in the northeast. It's not only with young males as well; it's with males in general in the northeast of England. We've got the highest suicide rate in the country. Let's just make that straight. You know, in England, should I say, we've got the highest suicide rate. The only place that beats the northeast of England for suicide rates is Northern Ireland. Okay, so Northern Ireland's actually got the highest as a countries, but actually, if you pin it down to areas, northeast of England's got the highest. We've also got the highest deprivation from child poverty as well. At the same time, currently standing at 42% in East Durham, where East Durham Veterans Trust are located. You know, we've got the lowest national average wage as well. You know, and all these things are just adding up. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I totally agree with you. But thankfully, people like us, East Durham Trust, you know, the partners, East Durham Area Action Partnership, all these different people all can come together and support people. But maybe we shouldn't have to. Maybe, you know, it is a hard time. The Northeast has some of the most caring people. Great to see working class northern men and women helping each other get back on track. Massive respect to the lads and lasses involved and those that have reached out for help. Yeah, brilliant. The community we have on a Friday is absolutely class. When people come in, we have the 3 groups on. We have groups all during the week, but actually the 3 groups on a Friday with the craft, the woodwork and the model make, and then they have the dinner straight after. Lots of the veterans and the family members hang around afterwards for a bit of yada, a bit of crack on, a bit of banter and stuff like that. It just truly is an amazing place to be. In my opinion, all MPs, expenses, second homes, etc., should be abolished. We ain't getting into politics, so we'll move on. Thank you to those wonderful volunteers, and thank you to Channel 4 News for reporting real essential news that providers fail to do. Totally agree. Actually, Channel 4 News didn't just come in response to film that; they came twice. And you know, they were traveling up from London because they got it the first time and wanted to come back and do some more stuff on it, which was absolutely brilliant of them. And all 3 of them that were part of that team that came and spent a couple of days with us were absolutely first class people as well, and they really got what we're all about. Blessings for all those suffering mental health issues. Yeah, totally get it. Totally agree with you. That's what we do at East Durham Veterans Trust. That's why we were set up. We were set up as a mental health charity, and that's what we do. That's some amazing and badly needed help you are providing. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your kind comment. Sending love from Australia. Congratulations for reaching out for help. You're right, because that's the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to do is, say, actually, you know what, I need the help. That's the hardest thing to do. And once you get over that barrier of actually, you know, saying that, I need the help, and you get the help, then, you know, your story then can be told to someone else. If you want to tell that story, and that can inspire someone else to come forward and remove that barrier and come forward again. Excuse me. Mental health will rise up more due to poverty. It's discussing what Rishi is doing, being a billionaire. I'm not really getting into politics, but I think with poverty, you know, in the cost of living crisis, we are seeing how it is affecting, and we are seeing how the cost of living crisis and people struggling, and it all comes down to stress bucket. I'm going to do a video on this in the coming weeks about the stress bucket, and you know, about how this can make everything overflow, and also how people like talk about depressants and antidepressants and don't want to talk about and stuff like that. I'm also going to show you how that impacts on you as well at the same time. This is so sad. As a country, we need to do more. Agree? Yeah, wholeheartedly agree. This guy's a decent guy. There's lots of guys in it, so I don't know which guy you're referring to. This is stark reality. I think so many of just bury our heads in the sand and knuckle down, but it's times like this that we need to come together more than ever. Yeah, totally agree with that, Wayne Lucas. And thanks for the comment. But yeah, that's what we do at East Durham Veterans. We do batten down the hatches. We do all come together, and we are providing that community for everyone to come in. Everyone feels welcome when they come in. There's no judgment there. Everyone's non-judgmental. You know, no matter what issues you may have from addiction, you know, to mental health issues, just wanting to be part of something. You know, it's all about coming in and enjoying it, and that's what a lot of people do. When the first time someone comes into East Durham Veterans Trust, we don't just say, go and sit yourself down over there, so they don't know anyone. We come in, we introduce every single person. Every single person gets introduced so that everyone knows each other, and that starts integrating. And with veterans, what you'll find is, you know, you'll sit down and like, introduce them, then obviously like, oh, what were you in? Oh, I was in this. So then the banter starts between the regiments. I get a lot of it being extra signals, but it's just part of the experience and it's part of what we do, and we just absolutely love it. Being Royal Signals, I just say, well, where I got out with a back injury because my back was so bad of all the money I used to get paid, because obviously I was high paid band being Royal Signals. Yeah, and that just echoes it on again. It's just all banter like that. It's really, really good. American vets praying for our British brothers and sisters. Yes, American veterans. I've been to America a few years ago, and I see how American veterans are treated compared to British veterans, and it's scary how further ahead America are to Great Britain. But I can honestly see, I think we're making baby steps as a nation, and we're starting to get there definitely. Watching this makes me have some faith. There is good people in the world that help people. Thanks very much. I hope you are good people. I personally think all the staff in East Durham Veterans Trust and Durham Community Centre are, personally think they're all absolutely special. I really do. We live in dark times, we do, but let's make them light again. Anyone whose dog is that happy and chill can't be a bad soul. If you're referring to the white Staffy and the guy who owns that, you're right. It is a happy dog, and it is well looked after. You can clearly see that. It's a crime what's happening to ordinary people. We're just surviving. You're right. It's hard. It's hard. It's cost of living crisis. It's hard. And I think we're seeing that now. I think the government's starting to see the impact of that with everyone going on strike, because everyone's really, really struggling, even if they're in employment or they're not in employment. If they kind of work because they've got disabilities or they just kind of work in general, they kind of find a job. Everyone's finding it hard. Very emotional film. Communities come together as the government fails them. Don't really want to get into the government. I don't want to get into politics at all. So hard that they got help, and a lot more need it so bad. The government needs to go. My mental health is so bad because of the cost of living. Yeah, and so is so many other people's, because it's so difficult. It really is. If it wasn't for amazing organisations like this, our country would be in a much worse state than it is now. You're doing great work. The government should be doing. We love what we do. We love what we do. At the end of the day, we love supporting people and helping people. So thank you for the kind comment regarding that. I'm praying for everyone. Thank you. Keep praying for me. It saddens me deeply to see fellow human beings struggle when it's so unnecessary. This is not their fault, and they're scared at what tomorrow might bring. Our mental health should be our main priority as a species. Otherwise, we sicken and die. Truth be told, this is a global problem which is deeply embedded in our surroundings. After all, it is difficult going to bed in the evenings knowing that the world shall be in a worse state. Upon, we'll click read more, awakening. Oh, I didn't read all that, and I'll be here for a year. Yeah, the only reason that I have good mental health care is being able to go into hospital was because my parents pay for me to have private health. Feel very fortunate. Yeah, I agree with you. I are very fortunate, and but I'm glad you have got that good mental health care and the healthcare in general. So yeah, it is hard. No getting away from it. BZs to everyone involved. That must be a Navy boy, because all our Navy lads who come into Veterans will always have BZs. So many people in the same boat. It's overwhelming. Well done to this guy for trying. The government warm home discount is a disgrace this year. It was seeing many people that have excluded from this. This was ludicrous. That's awesome to see. He's actually doing something more than the entire British government. I think hopefully talking about what we do at the Veterans Trust there. It was 13 years ago. I went without food for 3 months. The vet refused to give me donated food because I had no money. My cat and dog starved alongside me. Blessed they are now passed away. Hearts stay and Judy better. When AI could feed them, they did it. I went without eating. My mental health was in the toilet. If it wasn't for my now late dog and cat, I would have given up. When I hear fellow Americans griping about the high cost of food, I get mad. Yeah, so obviously this lad's over in America, or this lady, sorry, Lisa and I dog. Yeah, poverty itself would not be as bad if there wasn't for isolation and social family from I can't even pronounce it. That has become the norm. A dysfunctional, unhappy society. Listen, stop using big words, man. I can't read them. And the worst part of it is 1.6 million on the NHS adult mental health waiting list, and another 8.1 who are who were turned away because their problems weren't deemed serious enough. I can't really comment. I don't really know the full facts on that. I know there is 1.6 million on the NHS adult waiting list. What we've got is that we work with the NHS Till Service, which is part of Courage, and we take lots of referrals in from Tees and Weir Valley NHS service, and they're absolutely class. You know, and between us, we get veterans through very, very quickly. We don't have waiting lists for mental health at East Durham Veterans Trust. It's one thing, me as the CEO and the founder, I refuse to have there. And all my staff are aware of that. And if anyone waits over 2 weeks, I kick off, and they know that I do. So you ensure that that's done. You know, 1.6 million people, if you're in East Durham, we're part of the Community Resilience Programme, you can come forward from that and come and access the services at East Durham Veterans Trust as well. We've got availability. We'll get you straight in. We've got contingency. People often ask, what are you going to do when it gets full? I was like, well, I've got a contingency plan. Quite easy, got a contingency plan. You know, I've got, the way we set up is that, say someone works for 15 hours a week, they only set up for 10 clients. So if we do get an influx of people, then the 3 counsellors we've got, they can take another 5 each quite easily. And also I'm there as a counsellor, so I don't counsel that many people, maybe 6 or 7 people around full time. So if you had a massive influx, I can stand up. We can bring, you know, student counsellors in to help with low-level mental health problems and stuff like that. So it's all that sort of good stuff going on. Heartlift and kindness, thank you very much. If they care about mental health, it wouldn't take over a year to get an appointment. My friend waited a year and 3 months just to get a video appointment. Obviously didn't come to East Durham Veterans Trust because the day that your name passes my desk, it goes to a caseworker. Once it's been to a caseworker, they do an assessment. If that person's deemed ready for counselling and it goes to counselling, like I've just said, I'll be seen within 2 weeks. I wished I lived somewhere near this. I need help. If you need help, please get in touch with East Durham Veterans Trust. We can help you. And also, on top of that, we can do stuff like over video with the likes of Zoom and Teams and stuff like that. We can do it over the phone, but we can help you. Please get in touch. That's 776-110. Yeah. The good folks who step up to help their fellow men and women are the best of the British people. I like that a lot. Let's give that a tick. I like that. Talking about your mental health does not require money. Talk is free, and do let anyone tell you it isn't. Very true. Governments do not care. We're not getting onto politics. We ain't doing it. Yes, my brother, great idea. Just love it. When do we sack the government? Next year is the general election. Vote for who you want to vote for. News like this makes me grateful that I'm doing perfectly okay in my own country, Norway. Nice that you're watching from Norway and you can see what we're up to over here in the UK. After working all through the pandemic on the front end, I became homeless while pregnant. I've never suffered from mental health before, and it's been relentless and sleeping on couches and staying with friends with a newborn. That is so sad. That's really bad. Just looking at the other comments on there. Got to feel for these people. Next one, we need more people protesting against the continued austerity. We ain't getting into politics. Thanks to the austerity policies put in place by the Conservative Party since 2010, more we reduce the funding of the public services, NHS schools, and reduce welfare, more we'll see the rise in mental health, misery, food banks, and homelessness. Can't really disagree, but I don't want to get into politics, as I've stated several times on this so far. The mean-spirited, I can't pronounce them words, man. I'm from the northeast. What a lovely man saying his dog comes first, and at the same time, my cats, their food has gone up so much. It's so wrong. I work full-time and live alone. I've got cancer and luckily do a basic wage whilst off. But my bills have gone up, so I'm really struggling. Yeah, I totally empathise and sympathise with you at the same time. The public trustee stole all our money after my husband died. Believe me, struggling with disability and special needs care when you can't really afford both housing and food is devastating. If it's life in jail for a crime you didn't commit, and you can buy the little things that make life worthwhile. So many sad comments in it. I think there's so many people like actually emphasising with the story that we told through the Channel 4 News, and when they came to see us and saw what we were doing. She is doing gold in the game. Yeah, let's get past that. Good job, guys. Thank you very much. As nice as this is, it's exactly what the Tories want. They've struck the NHS bare, ain't getting into politics. We should all take the initiative, I do, and we can get the ship to the shore. As for the retail price index, we're all feeling it. How did this happen? Yeah, no comment. I could tell you how it's happening, but like I said, ain't getting into politics. Um, Still have a room, but no healthcare or electricity. Walking to the food bank now. Sad times. Scott should find us solace and happiness in Sunak's 5 promises. So obviously Scott, he's one of the guys who was interviewed in the wheelchair. If you watch the video, obviously his dog's with him as well, Rusty. Scott's doing well. He's doing really well. So, he wasn't in a good place when he came to us. But we've worked hard with Scott, and we still are. And I'm really proud of him. He actually just represented Ireland in the Rugby World Cup last year, the back end of last year. And that really helped him with that look forward to and representing his country, which was absolutely brilliant. Why property prices keep rising even in a pandemic, I don't know. If things were so expensive, then people wouldn't be so depressed. Yes and no. I think that does add to one of the things within the stress bucket. And again, I'll be doing a video on that in the coming weeks. Grassroots initiatives are the most effective in my view. Sadly, so many official sources of support seem to be more out supporting those who run these large CEOs, etc., and are very little often filtered down to the tangible difference to their lives, those that are supposed to be helping. Mentioning no names, some of these, in brackets, charities are the worst offenders, and it's hard not to be clinical. It's a sweet business model when you think about it. Free stock and labour, subsidised tax breaks, and prime town centre location. Talk is cheap. What makes a difference is the more equal share of resources. Wow, that's a bit of a hefty statement. That I think where we are, where we located, I wouldn't exactly say we're in a city centre or a town centre. We're a little bit out of the way, to be fair. As for I don't even know where to start with your comments. To be honest with you, if you're talking about CEOs' wages and stuff like that, if you want to look at myself, then I left a £40,000 a year job with BT Openreach, and I'm on less than half of that now. And that's God's honest. And the reason I'm on less than half of that is because I just love what I do, and it gives us satisfaction doing what I do and helping people. I don't think we're the worst offenders. We certainly haven't got free stock of labour, because if you can find a councillor that'll work for free, then please send them my way, because we have to pay people like that to be able to provide that service for our end users. So don't really get with Billy Goliath 16-14 there. Sorry about that, mate. Wow, being poor is stressful. Wouldn't have thought. Nice discovery. Yeah. Hint of sarcasm. Hint of sarcasm. Down we go. You need to make friends with your English grown melee buddies. No idea. Keep going. Save lives. Don't ever vote Tory again. That's your choice. So the government sends these people overseas to war, then they come home. Their thanks is to be put on a wait list for their cares. They need to sacrifice this. Government. I can't wrap my head around the current state of the UK government. I just can't understand why they'd be so unwilling to let people suffer like this. It's humane. Let's not talk about the government. Years ago, a study found that the British were the loneliest people in Europe. That's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised to hear that they are the loneliest in the Western world. There are other communities, such as states where people live in insular lives, but there seems to be concern relatively small pockets, not the entire country, to combine with these immense equality. That's quite an interesting comment, really. This is great, but how long will this last? Hope they don't run out of money. I hope we don't run out of money as well, and it is tight. To obtain financial freedom, one must either be a business owner or invest in both, generating massive income, particularly on a monthly basis. The price of getting back control, unconditional right to stop your own life medically whenever we want for our adults. I suppose that's your opinion, really. I'm trapped in Canada. My local community is off because of my family ties. I am skilled and driven, but I need to be anywhere to hail first. I will give anything to any place I can find in that. May I come, please, please? Yes, of course you can. Of course you can. Let's give you a thumbs up. The end user should have the ultimate veto on which service retrieves their contributions, and the NHS isn't always it. The NHS needs to lose default taxpayer funding in favour of people subscribing to health insurance. and services that include the NHS as just one of many alternative providers on a price comparison website. Only the risk of losing future funding to competing providers can force the NHS to cut waste and focus on the basics of healthcare. That's a really, that's a valid point, really, especially if you relate it to mental health providers and provide mental health support. If we're seeing that, you had an insurance, and if you came to us, that's where your cash insurance is. All our services are actually free, and we have to go out and find the funding to cover them. So that's like a big debating point, really. Human nature is the desire to receive, so-called desire to enjoy, and it functions by receiving what is beneficial to itself and rejecting what is harmful. Everything in our lives is built upon this calculation, where we first try to distance ourselves from harm and see ourselves. Right, very good. Hot take: legislate cannabis. No, let's not. Good man. Well done, Tory, showing the world exactly what would happen if Corbyn had won the election. Lesson learned. That's a bit different, I suppose. Which you can move to the United States and become citizens here. A lot of states that are cheap to live in. That's excellent. I quite like America as well. I went to New York a couple of years ago. Absolutely loved it. Let us place our trust in Lord Jesus Christ. Let's do that. My nana and grandma were massive into believers. In this country, nobody actually cares for these group of people. I care, so you're wrong there. Support Ukraine. We need more money to fight. Went to Ukraine last year. Went to the Ukraine border. With the Veterans Trust, some videos on our YouTube when we were travelling over and getting close to the border. Dropped loads of aid off there. At the time, I think it was Lviv was getting absolutely smashed, and we heard it off, and we were quite close to the border that day. I never hear anything mentioned about the real reason British people can't access NHS. It's really quite simple. It's not National Health Service, it's an international health service. Until it ceases this problem, it will only get worse. British people have to access food banks. Just wait until the job centre staff get the order to go hard again. We've got a good relationship with our local job centres, thankfully. Personal accountability is the most important thing in life. I appreciate half of people have an IQ of under 100. I might be one of them. May not have the capacity to stay mentally strong and thrive in life, but you must liberate yourself through education. Something is wrong with this system. I'm an Eastern European. I'm single. Always paid my taxes, never claimed any benefits, and so I have developed a regular thought and virtually become afraid of living. Yes, I am on benefits. I started university college 2020. High secondary support, carry on, get a job, know the job, education, blah, blah, blah. Don't really know how to answer that one, to be fair. There's nothing that emasculates a man more than having a woman or a family. The effects of debt and lack of money when people are working hard for food, no hope. Let's keep going down them. They've got a couple of thumbs up, got a broken heart there. Don't expect the government to help you, they don't care. What policymakers in London don't seem to realise is that the per capita GDP in the UK, oh, that's politics, man. That's well above my station, not like. 215. I'm a hands-on guy all my life. 62 working in consultation and medicine fabrication. I think these people working making craft for it is a good, but what would be better is they were building something useful, not just to look at, but something functional. People need real jobs, right? So they're coming for the groups, right? Because basically it's a social inclusion. It's about bringing people together and getting people to talk rather than getting them out of the house where the thoughts are running all over themselves. We're not asking them to build a house or anything like that. What we ask them to do is just come in, sit down, enjoy it. There's no rush, there's no pressure. Just enjoy the company, get something to eat at the end of it. And yeah, they are doing something constructive, because one of the things they've actually made is Frau Sensory Garden is a great big wooden bench, and it's absolutely phenomenal, to be fair. Mental health meeting in the news, didn't see much of it when we were supporting lockdowns and furlough. Then someone's put bags of money. Don't know what all that's about. Fat chance of a global Britain. They hand out the Prozac. I don't agree with that either. Government could easily sort this out, but they won't, because they work there. Yeah, fire, eat the rich. Won't be long now, people. This is the 5th richest country in the world, folks, and people are freezing to death at home. Questions to be asked here. Yeah, it is bad. From Sunderland Till I Die documentary. Yes, that's me. I was in Sunderland till I die. And I've just finished making the third season as well. But I do have a day job, and this is my day job. Kia, if it wasn't for the high rent prices, there'd be no cost of living crisis. These veterans living like this, people arriving in dinghies, we're not getting onto that. Is going to jail, no stopping that now. The less money people have, they get used to it. The norm, TV benefits. Thank Atari. Find disgusting benefit system. Please use a mask when using spray paint. Right, apologise. Yeah, but actually, you'll find I was using a mask, but when they filmed the last bit, I'd run out of paint, so there was nothing in the paint can anyway. So, I can press that button all I want. I'm not gonna hurt myself. Wasn't that guy in Sunderland until I die? Yes, I was. He should be Prime Minister. No, I don't do politics. My animal comes first. I make sure my cat and my rabbit are fed. I miss meals I can't afford to eat properly. I wear a coat and gloves. It's actually, there's charities and organisations out now that actually help with pet poverty. We've got one up here called the Pets Pantry in Sunderland. And they're absolutely excellent. Support a couple of our veterans, donating food and stuff like that. It was only last week they helped a veteran as well. So yeah, really good. Let's spray 100 quid by spraying a pigs and do it with no safety mask. Yeah, right. So let's just clear that one up as well. I didn't spend 100 quid spraying a fridge. The paint I used was actually donated. The fridge was broken and donated. It actually got donated and it got damaged when we moved it. So we took all the working parts out of it. So I certainly didn't spend £100 spray painting the fridge. Sorry for that one. Charles and William, what have you done destroying a country like this? Don't agree with that either, because I'm very, very much a royalist. The first victims of economics and the fairy tale of infinite growth on a finite planet. Mental health is caused by malnutrition, high stress, excessive fear, and lack of praying. There's a point to, what's the point in painting the fridge black? Get your eyes tested. It's definitely purple. I'm so excited. My life has totally changed since I invested. Yeah, nice one. I don't want any overflow meal on the society of the spectacle makes it. They just make fun of you. You have to earn your rights. Abolish the monarchy. I don't agree with that. Sorry, I just think the monarchy is awesome. Like, you all want to come to Cornwall and watch the people spending money on meals out in January. The cost of living isn't affecting everyone, and the poor are not being helped at all. Yeah, I agree with that totally. Canada is the lowest class behind. I am begging you. Let's scroll down a little bit and see what else we got. But money can't be found to house, feed, and give pocket money to hundreds of people illegally entering the country. Come back to Jesus. Stop shaking your fist at him. Tesco value milk, cup of tea, and mashed potatoes. Is this what happens to veterans who fight for their country? Aye, it is. You cannot knock Tesco milk. It's kind of cheap. And if you watch the food that was going on, it was absolutely lovely. Just arriving the dinghy, everything's on a plate. We're not getting on immigration. Everyone expects too much. We need poor people. There's always been poor people. There's poor people. Then there's people who are deprived and then just need the help. And if you think that, then come up to us and just spend the day with us, and you'll see how bad it really is getting over here. I've been waiting 10 months now for a referral, not even treatment, just to be referred. I'm told that the referral I have another 2 months at least. 12 years of suffering, and there's pretty much no help out there. I live in Northern Ireland, pretty much have to deal with it on my own, thanks to the fascist Tory government. I'm really sorry that you're struggling there. Really, really am. But yeah, just thought we'd go over that. I'm just going to stop sharing the screen now. So yeah, that's it. Just want to read through the comments and just do a little video on it and answer a few of them really as we went through it. Obviously that's lasted a bit longer than I expected. I think we've been going for about half an hour there, where I wasn't expecting 500 plus comments. Thanks very much for everyone for the positive comments. Sorry that not everyone actually gets what we're trying to do and what we're about and stuff like that. But listen, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. And the next video is going to start doing a set called Mindset Mastery, where we're going to be talking about mental health. We're going to be talking about different things and different issues and different theories, if you like, all about mental health and how it helps and supports people. Okay, so thanks for watching the video. Please click the subscribe button and follow us and subscribe to us, because that helps us going forward as well. Okay, thanks very much for watching. See you later now. Ta-ra.